So as part of what Arrow has been putting out in terms of mainstream titles, Arrow Home Video, they've been dipping into some studios' back catalogs and putting out, even more deluxe editions than we've seen before of some things. And one of the recent releases, one I've been kind of excited about, is the Kevin Smith film Mallrats, his mid-90s, throwback to the 80s comedy about slackers hanging out in a mall, part of the Mewes universe with Jay and Silent Bob in there. And this is a film I had seen. It didn't get that wide a release, and it wasn't a success at all in the theater. But this is one that I came to know on DVD, and the original DVD was a pretty hefty deluxe edition at the time, and it's since been re-released. There was an anniversary edition, and now we have this new Arrow edition, which I think takes everything from every other edition and then piles even more stuff on top of it. I believe there are 3 versions of the film. There's the theatrical cut. There's the extended edition, which has a lot more in it. It's a lot more. And then there is the TV version, which is one of those things where the TV version, there's so much profanity, it was so overdubbed that they actually replaced the Jason Mewes character's voice with some other actor, apparently just some guy who happened to be in the dubbing studio at the time, with all kinds of goofy, non-swearing words that sort of match the lips. And it's sort of one of those infamous TV versions that are out there. So that's on there for you to enjoy. And just an incredible amount of extras. So if you haven't seen Mallrats, it basically takes place in the winter in Minnesota. This young guy has just broke up with his girlfriend, and they were going to go off to Florida together, and he was going to propose. Her father, played by Michael Rooker, is like a public access game show host, and he wants to do this big game show, sort of like a Love Connection or dating game show, basically, at a local mall, the mall in the film, and hopes this is going to get him his big network gig. So it's various characters interacting. The 2 main characters are Jason London's character and Jason Lee's character, who is just comic book obsessed, video game playing, lives in his mother's basement guy who's just broken up with Shannen Doherty. And it's them and their various friends just hanging out in the mall and interacting with each other. Stan Lee has a great cameo. Steve Dave has a great cameo. And it's just a movie I've always found funny. It's a Kevin Smith movie, so it's very crude. It's very R-rated, but I think it's one of the more accessible of his films for like a mainstream audience, and that's kind of what he was going for at the time. That's what Universal wanted, was a teen comedy like the old days. And I think Mallrats delivers. It's in very 90s in some ways. When you watch the opening and you hear some of the music in it, it's like, oh yeah, this is a 90s movie. But there's a lot of very quotable dialogue in this film. There's a lot of really wacky stuff, a lot of really crude stuff, and the extended version gives you even more of that. Like I said, I had the DVD of this, which I was always very happy with how loaded with extras it was. This one blows me away. This is there's like 2 hours of dailies on here. There are tons of outtakes. There are tons of interviews. It's extensive, and this is one of those discs that I like and I'm keeping, and it's going to take me many sittings to get through all of this stuff. It's just fantastic. So if you're a fan of Mallrats, I urge you to go out and get this film on the Arrow Blu-ray, because it will replace any other version you had, and it's unbelievable. I cannot imagine anybody going through the effort to compile a more complete or more deluxe version of Mallrats than this, because again, it's a movie that was never that popular. Kevin Smith has talked about maybe doing a Mallrats 2 at some point. Who knows if that'll ever happen, but it's got a following. It's one of those movies that's found its audience on video over the years, but I don't really see any other entity putting more time and effort into this than Arrow did. And again, the film looks and sounds great like any Arrow video would. And coming from Universal, you kind of expect it's going to look and sound pretty good because they take care of their materials. But man, I can't. It is a ridiculously loaded set, and if you like the movie like I do, it's just a blast to jump back into it again and see all the deleted scenes that were extras on the initial disc as part of the movie. I guess the extended version was released once before on video, but I never saw it until now. And yeah, Mallrats, Arrow Home Video, golly,